Questlove still smiles when he tells that unforgettable story. What happened at Prince's roller skating party with lights was one of the biggest secrets in the music world. Madonna was there that night too, and what passed between the two legends was something only a few witnesses knew. But the real story emerged years later. In 1989, when Madonna and Prince recorded together for her Like a Prayer album, it became one of music history's most mysterious collaborations. They recorded a lot of material, worked together for hours, but in the end, only one song remained on the album: Love Song. So what was in those lost recordings? Why did Madonna cut all the other tracks? And most importantly, what really happened between the two megastars in those studio sessions? Note: this documentary-style narrative is based on music industry reports and interviews. This story's every detail matters to you. Don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss the continuing chapters. In MTV's golden age, two names dominated television screens. Madonna was tearing up dance floors with Holiday, while Prince offered the world apocalyptic funk with 1999. Both had placed sexuality at the center of their art, shattering traditional pop music molds. But when they briefly crossed paths at a Los Angeles music industry party in the mid-1980s, the dynamic between them was complex. 1984 became a breakthrough year for both. Prince released one of music history's most successful albums with Purple Rain, while Madonna sat at the center of controversy with Like a Virgin. During this period, an indirect competition began between the two artists. The music industry constantly published comparison articles, debating which was more successful. But was Madonna really showing this much interest in Prince? But behind the scenes, completely different dynamics were at play. Madonna's producer at the time, Nile Rodgers, shared an interesting detail in an interview years later. Madonna constantly played Prince's songs in the studio. She listened to Purple Rain at least 5 times a day. When I asked her, "Why are you so obsessed?" she would say, "I'm trying to understand him." Was this obsession just musical admiration, or was it a sign of something deeper? In 1985, during Madonna's Material Girl period, the relationship between the two artists began to become more complex. During this time, an increasing interest toward Prince was observed in Madonna's behavior. Similar changes were observed in Prince's behavior during the same period. Workers at Paisley Park observed that Prince occasionally listened to Madonna's songs and tried his own versions. The common points between the two artists were also noteworthy. Both came from Catholic families, used religious symbols in their music, and created controversy by blending sexuality and spirituality. The religious imagery in Madonna's Like a Prayer video clip showed parallels with the spiritual themes in Prince's Purple Rain. Were these similarities coincidental or conscious influence? And this question leads us to the real mystery. Why was Madonna's 1987 offer rejected? Everyone around Prince wondered what the real reason behind this decision was, because Prince had never rejected a major collaboration offer so quickly before. Madonna's approach to Prince while preparing the soundtrack for her Who's That Girl film became the first serious collaboration attempt between the two artists. This offer made Prince think. For a week, he worked on different demos, even writing lyrics that mentioned Madonna's name. However, a week later, Prince decided to abandon this project. Why did Prince turn down the opportunity to work with Madonna? Did this decision become a source of regret for him? Or did this rejection pave the way for those mysterious studio sessions in 1989? 1988 became the period when the two artists secretly followed each other. When Madonna released her You Can Dance remix album, Prince also began making more dance-oriented songs. Tracks like Alphabet Street and Glam Slam seemed like parallel developments to Madonna's interest in the house music trend of that time. During this period, Prince's influence began to be seen more clearly in Madonna's studio recordings. The demo versions of Express Yourself had guitar riffs and rhythm patterns similar to Prince's Kiss. Producer Stephen Bray later confessed that this similarity was intentional. Madonna loved Prince's Kiss very much. While working on Express Yourself, we constantly reference that song. At the same time, some songs on Prince's Lovesexy album showed approaches similar to Madonna's vocal style. The two artists were influencing each other, but never openly admitted it. This mutual influence process also involved the media significantly. Constant comparisons in music magazines had indirectly pushed the two artists to compete with each other. Both closely followed the other's successes, analyzed their new albums, and tried to adapt their strong points to their own music. Finally, the awaited moment came. When Madonna began studio work for her Like a Prayer album in spring 1989, she approached Prince again. This time, the offer was much more specific. Madonna wanted Prince to provide both musical and vocal contributions to a specific song. This song would later be named Love Song. The first studio session was held in Los Angeles. This recording process went more productively than expected. Prince accompanied on guitar while Madonna drew vocal melody lines. Love Song was successfully completed. After Love Song, an unexpected development occurred. Madonna stated that she wanted to record more material. Prince also accepted this offer and worked on more music in the following days. So what was really in those secret recordings? And why did Madonna decide to hide them? These questions lead us to an important music historiography question. After the studio sessions ended, Madonna made a surprising decision. From the multiple songs recorded, she would only keep Love Song on the album. The other recordings would never be released. This decision surprised the music industry because the other recordings were known to be of good quality too. The reason behind Madonna's decision remained secret for years. Where these recordings are hidden also remains uncertain. How Prince received Madonna's decision was also a matter of curiosity. It is known that he never discussed this situation, acting as if those recording sessions had never happened. However, subtle changes began to be observed in his music. The Graffiti Bridge album he released in 1990 had different musical approaches. During this period, it was observed that Prince exhibited a different approach in his creative process. Prince, who had previously made music only in funk and rock styles, became more open to pop melodies. His musical productivity also increased. Between 1990 to 1991, he recorded much more songs than normal. It is known that during this period he worked on different sound effects and harmony arrangements. He spent more time on songs with female vocals, trying different arrangements. This change was also seen in Prince's concerts in the 1991 to 1992 period. In his stage performances, he emphasized more melodic songs, reducing hard funk pieces. New arrangements in the concert repertoire displayed different approaches in vocal harmonies. Music industry experts closely followed this brief collaboration between Madonna and Prince. Warner Bros.' senior executives evaluated the commercial potential that could emerge if the two artists worked more together. According to company records, various scenarios were prepared for similar collaborations after the success of Love Song. The music press also analyzed this situation from different angles. Some critics wrote that the musical styles of the two artists were too different and long-term collaboration would be difficult. The other group emphasized the creative potential that this difference could create. In the Record Industry Association of America's reports from that period, the increasing popularity of crossover collaborations was mentioned. The Madonna-Prince collaboration was considered one of the pioneering examples of this trend. Industry analysts predicted that similar collaborations would increase in the 1990s. European music media particularly focused on the cultural dimension of this collaboration. German music magazine Music Express published an analysis titled "The Meeting of Two Different American Musical Traditions." In France, Les Inrecuptibles magazine made the comment "Transatlantic musical diplomacy." Recording technology in 1989 was different from today's standards, but quite advanced for that time. The studios where Madonna and Prince worked had the latest technology, analog and digital mixing systems. These technological capabilities played a critical role in combining two different musical approaches. Digital audio tape technology was just beginning to become widespread in 1989. DAT systems were used in these recording sessions, and the sound quality was much clearer than in previous periods. The crystal clarity in Madonna's vocals and detailed tone control in Prince's guitar were made possible by these technological developments. Studio monitor systems were also very advanced for that time. The use of near-field monitors provided the opportunity for more precise work in sound mixing. This was effective in capturing the vocal harmony between the two artists so perfectly. The widespread use of MIDI technology was also an important factor at that time. Prince's control of electronic instruments via MIDI created the opportunity for synchronized work with Madonna's vocal timing. This technological harmony played a major role in speeding up the creative process. Madonna and Prince's collaboration didn't remain limited to America. It resonated throughout the global music industry. Particularly interesting developments occurred in Japan. The general trend of the Japanese music market at that time showed that hybrid approaches in Western pop music were of great interest in the Asian market. The situation was different in Europe. While the British music industry evaluated this collaboration more from an artistic perspective, the commercial dimension came to the fore in Germany. Record companies began researching the potential of similar crossover projects. In Italy, the music industry was inspired by these developments. Festival organizers began evaluating the potential of international collaborations. By the end of 1989, the profile of pop music listeners had begun to change. Madonna-Prince collaboration caused audiences listening to different music genres to discover each other. Music sociology experts define this situation as the cross-pollination effect. Observable changes were occurring in music listening habits. The fact that audiences who previously only listened to rock music began showing interest in R&B and funk genres, while dance music fans discovered the power of rock guitar, was notable. This change even affected the sales strategies of music stores. Record stores began reconsidering their section arrangements. Traditional genre separations were being questioned, and crossover sections were being created. Radio programming was also affected by this situation. Format radio was very rigid at that time, but the Madonna-Prince effect led some stations toward a more flexible approach. Stations with adult contemporary format began adding more diversity to their repertoires. Music production technologies were developing rapidly in the 1989 to 1990 period. The techniques used by Madonna and Prince became reference points for other artists too. Especially vocal layering techniques became widespread. Digital reverb systems became more sophisticated while multi-track recording capabilities increased. Sampling technology was also gaining new dimensions during that period. Systems like Fairlight CMI and Synclavier were beginning to be used more widely in the music industry. The harmony techniques used in such collaborations showed the creative potential of new systems. The first examples of digital audio workstations DAW were also emerging during this period. These technologies, which made music production more accessible, played a role in the increase of crossover projects. Traditional music criticism exhibited a genre-based approach until the end of the 1980s. Categories like rock, pop, R&B, funk were separated by clear lines. Madonna-Prince collaboration caused this approach to be questioned. Music critics began seeking new criteria when evaluating crossover projects. In this period when genre boundaries were blurring, the criteria for artistic success also began to change. Academic music criticism was also affected by these developments. Popular music programs began working on genre-crossing analysis techniques. In 1989, when MTV was at its peak, music videos played a critical role in song success. Love Song's video clip constituted an important example in this context. Seeing two megastars in the same frame displayed a new approach in terms of video art. Video directors were inspired by these developments, and collaboration videos became a popular format. The visual presentation of crossover projects gained more importance in the music industry. Music video production approaches were also changing. Major labels began giving more importance to the visual presentation of crossover projects. This situation led to acceleration of innovations in the video production field. The release of Love Song created different reactions among both Madonna and Prince fans. Madonna fans were greatly pleased that their idol worked with a legend like Prince, while some Prince followers viewed this collaboration with suspicion. They were concerned that Prince's pure musical approach would mix with commercial pop. Intense discussions occurred between fan clubs. In Prince fan club bulletins, how this collaboration would affect the artist's future musical direction was debated. Madonna fan clubs exhibited a more positive approach. For them, this collaboration was a demonstration of Madonna's musical diversity. Radio stations also gave interesting reactions. Stations with adult contemporary format played the song intensively, while rock-focused stations were more cautious. This situation showed how the combination of two different music genres was perceived in terms of radio formats. Record stores reported significant increases in sales of the Like a Prayer album. Especially the Love Song factor contributed to the album's overall success. Major chains like HMV and Tower Records began displaying the album in special showcases. 1989 was a very important period in terms of pop music history. Hip-hop was spreading, electronic music was becoming popular, while traditional rock and pop forms were also evolving. Madonna and Prince's collaboration was a symbolic example of this period of change. That year was also when the Berlin Wall fell. Similarly, boundaries were being crossed in the music world. Different styles were combining. The Madonna-Prince collaboration was interpreted as the musical reflection of this cultural atmosphere. MTV's influence was at its peak in 1989. Music videos now played a critical role in song success. Love Song's video clip also became important in this context. Seeing two megastars in the same frame was considered one of the important moments in television history. The widespread use of compact disc technology was also an important factor at that time. The sound quality of CDs enabled the vocal details of artists like Madonna and Prince to be heard more clearly. This technological development enriched the listening experience of duet songs like Love Song. At the beginning of the 1990s, the relationship between the two artists took on a completely different dimension. There was no longer open competition, but rather a cold distance. Madonna broke new ground in dance music with Vogue, while Prince returned to a more traditional rock-funk mix with Diamonds and Pearls. During this period, the number of times the two artists came together at joint events also decreased. In the 1991 MTV Video Music Awards, both participated but didn't talk to each other. Even organizers began avoiding seating them at the same table or the same area. Gossip within the music industry also talked about this coldness. Mutual friends of the two artists said there was a problem between them, but no one knew what it was. Janet Jackson, as a close friend of both, evaluated this situation as follows. It's like they're both avoiding each other, but neither explains why. Even during the Cold War period, mutual influence continued. Some tracks on Madonna's 1992 Erotica album reminded of Prince's style from that period. Especially the minimal electronic infrastructure in the Fever song resembled Prince's Get Off. Prince also continued to be influenced by Madonna. The video clip of the Seven song from the Love Symbol album contained erotic images reminiscent of Madonna's Justify My Love clip. These similarities were too detailed to be coincidental. Prince's 1993 change of his name to a symbol also showed that he was influenced by Madonna's provocations. Madonna's constant pushing of boundaries may have pushed Prince to take more radical steps. The two artists continued to influence each other's creative processes even though they didn't see each other. At the beginning of the 2000s, the paths of the two artists seemed completely separated. Madonna had shifted toward electronic music while Prince had turned to spiritual searches. Madonna focused on dance floors with the music album, while Prince dealt with completely religious themes with the Rainbow Children. But still, the bond between them hadn't broken. Some songs on Madonna's 2003 American Life album reminded of Prince's political stance from that period. Especially in songs criticizing the system, there was an attitude similar to Prince's approach. Prince also seemed to closely follow Madonna's transformation. The retro approach in the Musicology album showed parallels with the nostalgic theme in Madonna's Confessions on a Dance Floor album. Even though the two artists were going through different musical paths, they were interpreting the same cultural events in similar ways. At the 2004 Rock and Roll Hall of Fame ceremony, the two artists met again after years. Prince became the star of the night with his While My Guitar Gently Weeps performance, while Madonna also took the stage with Into the Groove. After the ceremony at the party, it was observed that they had a brief conversation. Jan Wenner, editor of Rolling Stone magazine, who saw this conversation, described the situation as follows. Both were very polite and respectful. There was no old hostility or anything. They were more like two experienced artists who appreciated each other. Did this change stem from the maturity that years had given? There were photos taken that night showing Madonna and Prince smiling together. These photos created great resonance in the music media, with headlines like, "Was Peace Made?" But neither artist made statements about this. In interviews Madonna gave in the early 2000s, her comments about Prince showed the final state of their relationship. On Howard Stern's radio program, Madonna said the following about Prince. "He was a real artist. I always respected him. Even though we went through different paths, we shared the same passion." Prince also mentioned Madonna in his 2014 Saturday Night Live talk. "In the 80s, there were few artists who fought the same battle with us. Madonna was also one of those brave souls." These words showed that mutual respect continued even years later. Madonna's use of a sample from Prince's Sign of the Times in the song from her 2015 Rebel Heart album was also noteworthy. This use was done with Prince's approval and showed how positive the relationship between the two artists had become. When news of Prince's death spread to the world, Madonna's reaction was very sincere and emotional. In her long message shared on Instagram, she wrote, "The world lost a unique genius. Prince taught me to look at music differently. His creativity always influenced and inspired me. Purple lights will always burn at Paisley Park." The notable detail in this message was the sentence, "taught me to look at music differently." What had Madonna learned from Prince? This sentence showed that their relationship included not just competition, but mutual learning. Madonna's addition of special tribute sections to Prince in her 2016 concerts was also meaningful. Her interpretation of Purple Rain in her own style, singing Like a Prayer and Purple Rain as a medley, showed how much the two songs were fed by similar emotions. These tribute performances were a sincere expression of Madonna's respect for Prince. It showed that the musical bond between the two artists continued even after death. Madonna maintained her silence on this subject for years and made no explanation about where the recordings were located. This silence made the story even more mysterious and increased music historians' curiosity. Perhaps the real story between Madonna and Prince will never be fully known. Perhaps in those lost recordings, the real musical chemistry between the two legends is hidden. Hatred, respect, admiration, perhaps all combined, because sometimes the greatest artistic successes arise from the most complex emotions, and sometimes the greatest losses are hidden in melodies never heard. Madonna and Prince's story will remain as one of music history's greatest what-if stories. The impact of this brief but intense contact between two geniuses, two characters, two different musical universes on popular music continues today. Final note: this story has been compiled from publicly available music industry sources and is presented for entertainment purposes. The information presented may contain commentary, and full accuracy is not guaranteed. Here it is: the untold story of Madonna and Prince's secret studio sessions that could have changed music history forever. Those lost recordings from 1989 remain one of the biggest mysteries in pop music, and we may never truly know what kind of magic was captured during those days. So what do you think really happened between Madonna and Prince in those studio sessions? Was it just pure artistic collaboration, or was there something deeper fueling their creative chemistry? And here's the million-dollar question: do you believe those hidden recordings will ever see the light of day, or are they gone forever, buried in music history? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. What's your theory about what really went on behind the scenes? If you grew up with MTV and remember the days when these two icons ruled the airwaves, don't forget to hit that like button. And share your favorite Madonna or Prince memory in the comments. Maybe you were lucky enough to see them live in concert, or maybe you remember exactly where you were the first time you heard Purple Rain or Like a Prayer. For more untold stories from music's golden era, make sure to subscribe. We dig deep into the archives to uncover the stories behind the songs that shaped a generation. And don't forget to ring that notification bell so you never miss our latest discoveries from the vault of music history.